Hello everyone and welcome to Felix's weekly space bulletin. Get the lowdown on all things spacey here with Felix, your not so roving reporter. We had an action-packed week with loads to talk about, including the FAA and SpaceX mishap report investigation completion, Crew-6 return, the third Virgin Galactic tourism flight, plus much more. If any of that sounds interesting to you, make sure to stick around until the end. First up this week, on September 8th, SpaceX and the Federal Aviation Administration announced that they had closed the SpaceX Super Heavy mishap investigation and had created a list of 63 actions that SpaceX must complete before applying for the second Starship launch license. Shortly after the announcement of the FAA mishap investigation completion, SpaceX released a statement on their website talking about the upgrades ahead of the second test flight. They said, SpaceX also made significant upgrades to the orbital launch mount and pad system in order to prevent a recurrence of the pad foundation failure observed during the first test flight. These upgrades include significant reinforcements to the pad foundation and the addition of a flame deflector, which SpaceX has successfully tested multiple times. You can read their full statement on their website, spacex.com. On the 10th, Elon Musk released the full list of 63 items and announced that SpaceX had completed 57 of them, and the other 6 of the 63 were to be implemented on later flights. A few important actions that jumped out at me were 90 plus cameras added to detect leakage during operations, increase fire suppression systems by 15 times, add electric actuation system, redesign fire suppression system, and redesign of a launch pad deck. There are many more, and you can read the full list on Elon Musk's Twitter account. Now onto some more weekly updates from Starbase. Late on Monday evening, Ship 25 was rolled from the rocket garden and arrived shortly after, in between the launch tower, and was lifted onto Booster 9 later in the day, becoming the tallest rocket in the world. This stack is a bit taller than the first one, with the addition of the hot stage ring. On the 6th of September, teams at Starbase started to paint the HLS nose cone. Let me know in the comments why you think they're doing this. On the 7th of September, teams rolled Ship 26 to the launch site and onto one of the test stands. You might recognise S-26 as looking like a Starship tanker, with no flaps and no tiles. Expect a static fire of S-26 soon. I'm not sure if they'll do this before or after the second orbital flight. It depends on how long the launch license takes. On the afternoon of the 7th of September, SpaceX tested both the Fire-X system and Booster 9 grid fins in preparation for launch. A launch pad deluge manifold was removed from the launch site, then a replacement was installed on the evening of the 8th of September. Ship 20's lifting points were covered up on the morning of the 8th. S-20 has never launched, so the lifting points being covered is a bit strange. Booster 9 was also very recently rolled to Macy's to begin its testing campaign. On the 6th, SpaceX teams in Florida rolled the first section of the Crew Access Tower for SLC-40, which will soon support crewed launches of Crew Dragon. Now, enough of Starship, onto some other space news. On the 7th, Relativity Space began renovation of the A2 vertical Stennis test stand to support testing of Terran R. Keep an eye on my channel for updates on their renovation. On September 8th, Virgin Galactic launched the Galactic 03 mission. It took off at 8:34 AM MDT, released at just under 45,000 feet, had an apogee of 55 miles, a top speed of Mach 2.95, and landed at 9:36 AM MDT. This was a very private mission and was not streamed live on YouTube. On September 6th, the Ariane 6 core stage had a successful hot fire test on its launch pad. Watch the hot fire video here. Ariane Group posted in a press release that another long-duration hot fire test of the core stage is scheduled in October, which will contribute to the qualification of the core stage as flight ready. Our final piece of news for the week. On September 9th, SpaceX launched 22 Starlink satellites with another successful launch and landing. That's all we have time for today. Thank you so much for watching, and make sure to like and subscribe. And a special thank you to my patrons David, Roger, Michael, Alexander, Ed and Jens. Thanks for watching, see you next week.